to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I ask for a moment of silence for former Police Sergeant Ray Shoemaker. May he rest in peace. Thank you. Roll.
Alderman Tobin. Alderman Jean-Francois.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderwoman Ray. Here. Alderman Kleiner.
Here.
Alderman Green.
Here.
Alderman Witt.
Here.
Alderman Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here. We got a quorum. Approval of minutes from May 16th and June 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
Massey, seconded by Alderman Witt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence.
No correspondence.
No correspondence. For the good of the city, anyone would like to address the council, please step forward. Okay, remarks to the mayor?
I believe somebody switched the flags on us. Is the flag supposed to be on the other side?
Yeah. Was it for the pictures? Did you use it for the
He
pictures?
moved, he did use them for pictures.
I was just amused by the entire council looking over in the corner where they usually are. The flag is behind you.
Wait, it's over there?
Yes.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and first I wanted to address the issue of fireworks and to show you what progress we've made over the last few years since we did opt out of the fireworks ordinance. One thing is people, a lot of people in Middletown think the fact that we opted out of the sale and use, that it's just not going to happen. But it's not going to happen unless we do some enforcement. And as you know, a few years back when we started, it was really, really out of control, and that's why we did pass the exemption. I recall riding down Mills Avenue with Mr. Massey, and we could hardly see in front of the car because there was so much smoke and so many blasts. So we decided to start putting into place certain ordinances, and then last year we made a change from having the district attorney prosecute the arrests that were made to having our local counsel, because what was happening is with the bail reform situation, the district attorney's office did not have the resources to prosecute minor offenses. And as you know, this has happened in other states with shoplifting and other minor offenses, and it just continues to escalate. So we decided to, under the advice of our corporation counsel, to change it from an action that the district attorney would prosecute to a local code violation and local arrest, and our city corporation counsel would prosecute it. So as you can see, these are only the 22 and 23 calls, but back in 20 and 21, obviously during COVID, the 1 year we did have a big spike, but we did make some progress. In 22, we had 103 calls over that 5-day period, primarily the majority of them going on 4th of July. And we made a total of 13 arrests. And these arrests are not people taken into custody. These are appearance tickets that are given to them to appear in court. In the past, prior to us passing the law, these cases were ACD'd, or basically adjournment and contemplation of dismissal, and there was no consequence to the people that were doing them, so of course they continue to do them. Since we passed the law, the court can impose, I believe, up to a $750 fine, and with repeat offenders, we have asked, or will ask, that jail time be added to the violation, and the court can impose up to 10 days in Orange County Jail. So last year, in 22, we made 13 arrests. I believe all 13 ended up pleading guilty and paid $500 fines. This year, our call volume was down. I know a lot of neighborhoods felt that it was as bad or worse than the past, but we did have pockets that were really, really bad. And we had about 84 calls and 64 just on the 4th of July alone. But this year we made 33 arrests. Those people will be going to court. We're going to ask for, hopefully, and the judge will concur with the maximum penalty. If there are any repeat offenders, we will ask, as I said, for jail time on them. But it's not up to us as a city to give out the sentence. It's up to the judge. So we're hoping for more cooperation from the court, and hopefully people will start seeing that we're serious about this matter, and that that there's going to be a consequence to doing this. People think it's like a harmless thing. It's not. We know about the veterans. We know about pets. We know about fires that were started up on Cottage Street due to excessive fireworks being shot off. So there's a lot of bad things that go on, and especially the people who do them later at night when kids are trying to sleep, and it's just not conducive to a good life in an urban setting. So we take it very serious, and we're going to do more. We're looking at alternatives that what other communities do with some drone technology. We may be coming to you for the passing of some ordinances, if possible, that will allow, if the drone can identify a private property that the fireworks are being set off from, that we can then summons the property owner at a following date, that we don't have to catch the person in action, because that's the difficulty, is the police under the existing process literally have to see the person shooting off the fireworks. And so so you can see there's a lot of police work that goes into this. We had 13 officers working July 4th just on fireworks alone. And a lot of that was undercover. I know one lady wrote to me the next day and said there was your response was nonsense. I called the police. The car rode by, and I didn't see the police again. After it didn't even stop. And I tried to explain to her that, well, you're only seeing the visible police car. You're not seeing what followed, which was the undercover people coming in and then making an arrest. So the public needs to understand that there's more to it. So, and also understand that we can do more, and that's why we'll be coming to you hopefully with some changes in the law that will allow us to go after property owners also, not just have to catch them in the act. But if we have video on drone coming from 26 Ogden Street, we'll be able to give Mr. Massey a ticket. So that's that. So, you know, I can assure you the police were running all night, including the chief and his lieutenants were out. And I recall one story, kind of funny, but kind of stupid at the same time. The chief was pulled over with one of the lieutenants in one neighborhood, and they were watching an unmarked car, and they were waiting for the fireworks to go off. And another car pulled up alongside and said, "What time are the fireworks starting?" So the people were actually inviting people to their fireworks, and they did get arrested, I believe, those people. So so we take it seriously. I understand the frustration. I know in my own neighborhood it's very loud, and the last 2 nights, they still are lighting off fireworks. So we're doing our best, but hopefully next year we'll be more prepared. We did have the drones out a little bit this year, and with the legislation, if we're able to pass that kind of legislation, I think we'll make a real dent into it next year also. On the next issue is, I know the chief is also going to talk about it, but I need to commend the heroic efforts of the city's firefighters for their swift response and bravery in rescuing an infant from a dangerous situation. The incident occurred this past week. It was around 12:30 in the afternoon, and this is coming off of the Middletown Professional Firefighters website. And a car containing 4 adults and a child in distress pulled up on the ramp of the central firehouse. As the adults exited the vehicle, Lieutenant Taggart and firefighters Mitchell and Damiani met them on the ramp. The father stated that his baby was not breathing and handed the child directly to Lieutenant Taggart. The child's head and extremities were limp, and his breathing rate was low and very shallow. and the breaths were gargled. The child's father explained that it had been feverish the entire day, and after observing signs of choking and fluid in the airway, Lieutenant Taggart performed a series of back blows to clear any possible airway obstruction. At the same time, firefighter Damiani called for an ambulance for Mobile Life Services, and firefighter Mitchell prepared emergency oxygen for the infant. Firefighter Mills and firefighter Rojas, who were returning from an unrelated incident on Prospect Street, immediately began to assist in rendering aid. Firefighter Mills assisted Lieutenant Taggart, and firefighter Rojas, who is bilingual, and the people that were on the ramp that arrived were Spanish, interviewed the family, and they were, as I said, Spanish-speaking, to obtain more information on the child's medical status. The child, after several rounds of back blows, spit up fluid and began to cry. Oxygen was administered by the Middletown Fire Department, and the child was monitored closely before being turned over to the care of Mobile Life Support Services, who transported the child directly to Garnet Medical. The fire department also issued a public thank you to the Middletown Police Department, who responded to render aid to the fire department and the child. This desperate situation called for an immediate action, quick action, and decisive action, and the firefighters, due to their training and commitment, responded with remarkable speed. I would like to emphasize the importance of the fire department's tireless efforts in safeguarding the community and acknowledge the risks they face daily, both our paid staff and our volunteer staff, led by Chief Barber. The bravery serves as a testament to their dedication to the well-being of the city's residents, and their heroic actions of the firefighters in rescuing the infant have undoubtedly saved a life, and they have earned our community's recognition of their efforts and appreciation for their selfless service. So I would like to just give them a round of applause and invite them to the future meeting. And the last issue we need to address is the citywide flooding, and over the past few weeks. As you know, this is not unique to the city of Middletown. This is, the Northeast is suffering probably its worst flooding in memory, I think, from what some have said. And we saw the tragedy that happened up in West Point in the Highland Falls area, resulting in at least one death. In in Pennsylvania, I think there were 5 or 6 deaths, including a young family. And the recent rainfall caused significant water accumulation in various parts of the city. Some of them are areas that we're well aware of that, even in smaller, lesser rainfalls, do flood. So I think we as a city and as a council need to acknowledge the challenges that are faced by the residents, and we need to not only express our concerns, but start looking at additional potential solutions. Something we've been doing over the years, but we're going to have to, with the climate change, we're going to need to step it up a little bit. So I wanted to assure the public that we as a city is actively working to address the flooding situation. We want to emphasize the safety and well-being of the residents and their property, and the utmost importance that all available resources are being utilized to mitigate the impact of the flooding. Our volunteer and paid department, fire department, were out at all hours of the day and night with basements, clearing out the flooded basements. The power failure made it worse because then sump pumps weren't working, and when the sump pump's not working, the basement's going to flood even quicker. So they were very active in their response. Now, we've made significant investments in our infrastructure, in our drainage systems over the years, and we continue to do so. And, well, the severity of the recent rainfall exceeded the system's capacity. There's no question about it. There used to be a big focus on Sterling Street and Wilson Street. Those are 2 areas that are constantly flooded, a little bit over in Watkins. We made some changes over in the Wilson Street area with straightening out of some pipes. But unfortunately, or fortunately for maybe people downstream, that when you do these changes, you can't just increase the size of the pipe and shift water downstream without doing the engineering that's necessary and the justification to let it happen. Otherwise, you're opening up the city for litigation by maybe addressing our problem in a slight way, but creating further problems downstream for other people. There's no question that some of the houses in the city should not have been built where they were built. Sterling Street is the lowest point in the city. We spent millions of dollars trying to correct the problem, and we did try to put in a larger pipe when the project was done, and that was rejected by the DEC, or by Albany, based on the engineering analysis. And we objected at the time. We felt we needed a larger pipe. They said no, but I was down on Sterling Street, and those manholes were still surcharging, and those poor people in that area were putting up with a problem once again. It's not as frequent, I agreed, but it's still a big, big problem. The same thing with one section of Wilson Street and parts of Grand Avenue. So we're looking at solutions, and we're going to try to do our best to come up with some solutions that may mitigate some of the issues, maybe not totally, but at least to try to address some of the situations that we see. As I mentioned, the emergency response teams, especially the volunteer firefighters who were out pumping out basements, deserve a lot of credit. Chief Barber, you had a great response from your team, and I wanted to thank you publicly for all your folks did on that for those few days. And I understand we're going to have more weather similar to that. But we also need to encourage people to take proper safety efforts. If you're in a low area with the weather changing, you might consider, and you have a sump pump, you might consider purchasing a generator or a small generator so that your sump pump can operate during power failures. That may save you a lot of damage in your homes. But there are things that we're going to look at and recommendations that we're going to make citywide. But I think it's important that we reaffirm the city's commitment to addressing the issue of flooding comprehensively. We'll work closely with the relevant agencies. As I said, the DEC plays a big role in how we can move water around, and we're retaining the appropriate experts and developing relationships with all community stakeholders to develop a not only short-term strategy, but a long-term strategy regarding this. I know I've heard from many of you regarding the issue, and I can assure you that we are doing our best to make it happen. But you can see from the pictures how powerful it was. That's our dam being topped off there, up by Kinch Dam. I believe that's way beyond the avenue where the bank washed out. You can see, I think the one picture is Wilson Street on the right, and it's just a horrible situation. And people are right, they don't need to live like this, but we're going to have to put up with it for a while until we can come up with a better solution. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Any question for the mayor? All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Remarks of department heads, DPW Commissioner.
Good evening all. So maybe leave these pictures on the screen. I thank the mayor for his, getting the attention of what has happened to us during the past couple of weeks. Starting from the 4th of July, when we had the power outage in there, tremendous amount of water came down. We basically were, something that you don't see in here, which is we were swimming in sewage at the wastewater treatment plant because the generator will not kick on. And Orange and Rockland is starting to have a frequent outages, so we had to panic and get things going, and thank God we got it going right away. And it happened again last Sunday. Before there's a council resolution for requesting approving of Eaton or through Rotolo Electric to come and troubleshoot the switch gear that we have at the sewage treatment plant, which is, technology is so advanced now, everything is solid state that regular, electrician cannot handle that. And here behind City Hall, we have an automatic transfer switch manual. At any problem, we can pull it and we can switch from commercial power to generator power. At the wastewater treatment plant, we cannot do that. Even advanced electrical contractors cannot do it. It has to go through Eaton switchgear. So before you that resolution, and we will appreciate you getting us approved. We did order the services of Eaton, by the way. We're not waiting as an emergency because it's very much needed. Of course, the DEC is all aware of that. And in general, to be honest with you, I think the city of Middletown, we did very well compared to other communities. The mayor has approved one of our garbage trucks to go to Highland Falls to help them out, including a driver and labor from us because they're very short-handed. Orange County DPW is helping, Town of Wallkill is helping, many other municipalities. I think even Port Jervis may have sent something. So all in all, the city did very well. However, like the mayor said, it did expose some of our vulnerability again, which is, in this case, not the huge structures, but the small pipes in there that are underground and they're collapsing. And, it just is going to take a huge amount of funding to handle those little ones, such as the picture on the left, on my left, that's Myrtle Avenue in there. The road itself started collapsing in the middle of the road, right over the storm sewer. And the reason is the huge amount of water is being tried to be carried through that storm sewer pipe, which is old and it has it has eroded. And it has failed. This one happens to be clay. It has failed when we looked with the camera in there. This is a huge expense that has to happen. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the water department, the sewer department, and the street department, and the operator at the wastewater treatment plant. They worked very, very, very long hours to try to protect the public, close the roads, keep catch basins and manholes secure. And, even coming up right in the middle, we had way on the avenue where the side of the hill gave way and blocked way on the avenue. They came out immediately with the dump trucks and the loaders and everything like that. So this is unfortunately, it's going to be the new pattern. We talked about this with the global warming and the change. This is the highest, if you listen to the news, the highest temperature throughout the world on record. This time of the year, which is it's not only in this country, it's not only in this region, it's throughout. So, it's just something that, like the mayor said, is it's advisable that people will have emergency generators because commercial power is failing, unfortunately, and because of those trees coming down or whatever happens. I don't know why the commercial power failed, but. We have to be somewhat self-sufficient. We had traffic lights throughout Dawson Avenue. The whole Dawson Avenue was without any traffic lights, and we had to panic and run around and put stop signs, temporary stop signs, and the police department is helping out. And also the fire department was helping with pumping people out. So make a long story short, right on Wilson and Beers as well, there was a road collapse in there, and that's because the pipe was pushing too much water through it. The water has no place to go. It's just very simple, and it becomes under pressure, and it comes out, it heaves the asphalt, and here we have a road failure. Our guys have been working tirelessly to address it, and we are doing it. So with that, again, I regret the condition that we are in, but honestly, we are blessed compared to other communities. With that, the reservoir report for Alderman Massey, we are at 105% capacity, which is the mayor showed you a picture of Kinch Dam, how much water. This Kinch Dam is under construction. The picture behind it showed that the Coffer Dam was overwhelmed, topped off. Water came overwhelmed, buried all the contractor's work that he has done upstream and downstream from this dam, potentially destabilizing the gatehouse that you were looking at Kinch Dam. And that's yet all to be evaluated. At the same time, we have another 3 dams being worked on in Shawangunk. So it's totally the wrong time of the year for us to happen, and I think it's pouring now, right? Yeah, it started pouring now after a sunny day, and like the mayor said, we're expecting worse weather to come. At the same time, we're trying to, so people will understand what we go through, we're trying to dam some of our dams so that they will not spill and overfill other dams or other reservoirs, so we will not destabilize the dams, such as Manhagan. And at the same time, we're not allowed to discharge any water from it because we have to apply copper sulfate to treat algae. And so we have to play this balancing act all the time and try to get our reservoirs chemically treated so they will not be wiped out, so we will have drinkable water. At the same time, we don't want to destabilize our dams. And at the same time, we would like to keep the water level down in certain dams, such as Shuwangang. This is high priority for us right now. Kinch has got topped off, ruined some of the work. We don't know the extent of it. We'll have to deal with that, but that's where we are. These are serious life issues, and we know that people lost lives. Some people lost their lives in Highland Falls. West Point was like a lake in there. So it's a big problem. The mayor is absolutely right. We have to start tuning in to try to be ready for this kind of thing, which is going to be extremely hard and extremely expensive to deal with and to handle, because it will require a major upgrade for all the sewer lines, storm sewer lines, and so on. Something that is bright point is Aspen development on County Route 78. County Route 78 got flooded a couple of times. However, North Aspen development, which used to be a flood zone in there, when it rains an inch, they used to go open the back door and open the front door and allow water just to rush through it. I'm not exaggerating. That's how North Aspen used to be. Right now, we built a flood diversion wall in there on County Route 78, and it has been protecting North Aspen ever since. So we're very proud of that. That's what the mayor was referring to, coming up with some out-of-the-box ideas in there on how to deal with these things, such as the flood diversion wall in North Aspen. Moving on to the other projects right here in town, which is the traffic operation. The mayor and we just met with the DOT. The DOT sent their teams and their bosses in here to talk about the project and how is it going and so on and so forth, because they heard some things. So we clarified everything over to them, and I think everything is under control. It's just people, sometimes they get excited about certain things, and we will get it under control, and it is under control. The problem right now, it seems to be with the concrete, which has nothing to do with the contractor. It's the supplier or possibly the testing of the concrete that has been rejected the last few days. And that's going to be addressed this Thursday. DOT is dispatching a team over to the plant where the concrete is being mixed. Also, they're going to be evaluating the testing lab that's doing the testing on site, which is independent of anybody, even of the city. So we'll get to the bottom of it. So, like they say, when it pours, when it rains, it pours. So it is pouring here, and we're trying to, and we are dealing with all these projects, I think, magnificently with the men and women that at the DPW. They're really doing a great job and coming out, doing whatever it takes to get the job done and protect our residents. Another thing, when it rains, it pours. We are short-handed with code enforcement, so everybody understands. One code enforcement retired, building inspector has surgery, and another one is out. And we cannot find any certified code enforcement officers to hire, and we have put the word out there. So now we hired a provisional code enforcement officer. He's going to start Monday. We're very excited about him. So hopefully he will get the training, and he will pass civil service tests so he can become permanent within the condition of civil service, top 3 and so on and so forth. And hopefully that will work out for us very well. But we're very short-handed, but the guys are doing what they can. We have an acting building inspector right now, one of the code enforcement officers, trying to deal with the planning board and their own jobs and so on and so forth. But we'll stay on top of it, and we will deal with it. With that, if you have any questions for me, anyone?
Any question for Jacob? Jacob, just going back to Wilson Street.
Yes.
Was that because of Magnolia Park? That's what a lot of people were saying.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Alderman, I did go over there myself, and I took pictures of the detention ponds that they built, and they were functioning fine.
Functioning?
Yes, what we promised the residents over there, the mayor and is once the water subsides a little bit, we're going to send our cameras. If you recall,
Yes.
like 6 maybe 7 years ago, we went in there, we cleared some roots and all that stuff. So we're going to go Koala. The residents, they believe that there's a blockage between Wilson and Brick Pond, or the other side at least of Beers Drive. So we promised them we're going to put the cameras through. Right now, we cannot stop the flow because obviously we have too much flow. Once we have the chance, we will go in immediately, and any issues, we will address them right away. But water is flowing. Every time we look at it, water is flowing.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Fire Chief?
Good evening, everybody. Talking about the storm, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but on July 9th, we responded to 21 emergencies, and on the 16th, we only responded to 8. So I didn't think it was that bad compared to Highland Falls, West Point area and stuff. Those guys are still rocking and rolling down there. Looking at the pictures, I live right up the street from Wilson Street. It's almost a common thing. Anytime you get heavy downpour like that over there, it happens over there. Sterling Street wasn't as bad as I thought compared to years past, but, you know, take the good with the bad. Moving on, Run for Downtown, happening August 19th. We're having a first responders challenge. This goes out to the PD, Mobile Life, whoever wants to take us on. I got my right-hand man right there. He's going to run for me. And we're going to bring home the trophy this year. We lost it to Mechanicstown last year, but we're bringing it back. And this year, we had a little thing at the firehouse, Alex's lemonade stand. He was a little boy, 9 years old. His name is Jace. And he set out a goal to raise $1,500 this year for to help fight childhood cancer. He not only met that goal, he beat it. He held it at the ramp on Central Firehouse. Mr. Massey was there. Thank you. He wanted to say thank you. But he also wrote a thank you letter that I want to read out. It says, "Dear Middletown Fire Department, thank you for allowing us to host our lemonade stand at the fire department. With your help, we raised so much money for childhood cancer. My favorite part is when he got to wear a reflective vest." And he's got such an imagination, because this next line, it says, "Chief Randy McLean is a great neighbor, and he's also a great firefighter." So that imagination that kid's got, you know? And he's always hard work and keeping everybody safe. So I want to thank Jace and his family for coming out, holding out at Central Firehouse. We helped them meet their goal, and they'll be back next year. I don't know what else I could say after what the mayor said about the Middletown professional firefighters. It's no prouder moment than being the chief of the Middletown Fire Department when something like that happens. And they train hard, they train well, they know their jobs. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but they did an awesome job. Very proud of those guys. And we will be bringing them up here to City Hall at a later date and showing them recognition. Other than that, any questions?
Any questions for the Fire Chief? Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
City Treasurer?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have two resolutions before you, or a couple, but the two major ones is that we are getting ready for our annual reborrowing. So I have a resolution to approve our capital expenditure plan for 2023 to 2024. Again, it's to start those projects, and like that, the departments can go ahead and order their equipment, start their projects for infrastructure replacements, things like things that we need, major projects like the traffic operations and the city dam. The second resolution is to be able to bond some of those projects funding, and that will be coming in August. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Alderman Kleiner?
Hi, thank you. I just want to say, again, this is, from the board estimate meeting, I get the idea, this is our normal bonding procedure, and because I think it totals something like 13 million, and people look at that and, whoa. But this is not new or additional spending. I mean, this is pretty much routine city business.
Yes, this is routine. We did not do a new funding borrowing last year. So these are still projects that we were delayed from borrowings from last year. So correct, these are all procedural. We do this annually, depending on the financial needs. We try to do it as conservative as possible, and the departments, they really do a wonderful job trying to get grant funding to repay those borrowings.
Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. Superintendent of Recreation?
Good evening. Just an update on what's going on with rec. Our maintenance department just finished installing a single-table pavilion at Academy Avenue Park. With the tearing down of the gazebo, we needed some type of shelter for our summer playground program when the staff hands out lunches. The bathroom project at Davidge Park is almost complete. We're hoping by the end of this week, early next week, we can get those porta potties out of there and get the new bathrooms opened up. We're also working with the health department right now. I know the senior center with their aquasize class has been requesting stairs going into Sproat Street Pool, something removable. So we're working with the health department now, seeing as long as we stay with the code for the pools. We are running into the issue that the majority of the ADA approved stairs for portable stairs are 36 inches, and if you've been to Sproat, it's a very small shallow end, so it's at 32 inches. So we're trying to figure out if we can move the stairs into a little bit deeper water, but it's not looking good, but we are still trying to look for stairs that come a lot smaller, but the majority of them don't. We've also been getting feedback about Babe Ruth with the foul ball situation that's constantly going on over there. We did get a quote from Ketchum Fencing for $4,480 to add 10 feet by 60 feet net over the existing 10-foot high fence, and that is just along the first base side. So it's not third base side. There's not as many foul balls in that direction. It also doesn't cover further down Watkins, those other two ball fields that are there. It's just Babe Ruth, the first base side. So we don't have that in our budget. That's a project that wasn't budgeted for. But if the council finds a consistent need for that, we will look into putting something like that into the budget for next year. Recreation update on some of the numbers for our programs right now. Our sports camp, week 1 had 103, week 2, 91, week 3, 158, and currently 149. Those numbers 158 seem a little high, but if you have younger kids that attended, we used to be at 250 a week there. That was the norm for a while. But with the school offering so many different programs for free over the summer, our numbers have been slowly declining in the past few years, especially with what the school district is offering. Our Little People Playtime, week 1 had 29, week 2, 29, week 3, 38, and right now they have 36 in week 4. Our swim lessons, all the sessions are full. Tennis clinics, the youth summer session filled up with 26 youth. The adult spring session only had 12, and the adult summer first session only has 10. Our pool's averaging on hot days. We're averaging at War Memorial Pool about 180 swimmers on hot days. And average at Sproat Street on hot days is 35, which is really good, especially in the past. That numbers have been low there, but 35 is definitely not bad for Sproat, and again, that's just on hot days. Our playground program is a program that we've been looking at for the past few years. I'm sure you've all noticed, but the kids just aren't outside playing on the playgrounds in an organized fashion like they used to. We've averaging about 100 lunches, only 100 lunches served throughout all of our 10 sites, which is not a lot. In our programs, we only have about average 6 to 10 kids per park that are actually coming to utilize the playground summer lunch program. We've been advertising, we've gone to neighbors, the playground staff, if they see the kids at the parks, they're going up to them. But it's a problem that's been past few years, and we're still looking and taking suggestions for any ways to boost attendance in that program. Some special events we have coming up. Saturday, July 22nd, we're showing the movie Home. The movie starts at 8:15. Thursday, August 24th, is the Faith Fair with the Greater Middletown Interfaith Council. It's an opportunity for all religious organizations to meet and greet our community, and that's a free event. And I think besides the fireworks, one of the biggest events that we've been doing, the city being involved, is the It Takes the Village Back to School community event, which is going to be held on Saturday, September 9th. And I hope that date does not change again, because it's been
After school.
been getting shifted around a lot, but we're hoping that one sticks. And last but not least, on Thursday, June 8th, 3 members of our office attended the Orange County Youth Bureau's 41st County Executive Award luncheon for adult and youth. There were 135 awards given out that day, and I'm proud to say that 4 of the people who received the awards were our staff and some of our volunteers. Anaya Gonzalez, who's a member of our Mayor's Youth Council, a recent graduate from Middletown High School. She received an award. Darrell Taylor, who is started off attending our programs and has became one of our workers. He also received an award. Sasha Berthoff received an award for Outstanding Youth Leader. And one of the prestigious awards that are given out every year is the Betty Jane Planis Asset Builder Adult Volunteer Award. And that was actually given out to Sue Depew for all of her outstanding work with the city cleanup year after year after year. So Sue, congratulations. Every year we try to nominate a few of our staff and volunteers that come to our programs, and we're happy this year that 4 of them were selected for awards. Any questions?
Any question for Ray Lynn? Alderman Kleiner.
I just have to mention, because I keep getting asked about pickleball court. So just to keep it in mind,
Thank you. Yeah,
the opportunity
it's
comes up.
something that for next year, putting in the capital budget, but it's just figuring out where to put it. But it's something that we'll look at, or even, I know the tennis players don't like to share the court with pickleball, and pickleball doesn't like to share with tennis. But maybe transforming one of the tennis courts to a pickleball court, just pickleball with just the pickleball lines. Hopefully, we can appease everybody with that without putting in a brand-new fenced-in pickleball court somewhere, but we'll definitely keep looking into that.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Ray Lynn. City clerk?
Nothing this evening.
Any question for the city clerk? All right. All right, public hearings, nothing. Remarks of Alderman. Alderman John Francois.
Yes, good evening. It seems like we have a rough summer starting this year. I want to thank the fire department for the life-saving effort, and also DPW, the street department, water department for their effort, try to keep the city dry. I know it's been real hard this year with all the rain and the water we're getting, but I think these guys are doing a great jobs, and I appreciate the effort. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson.
I would concur. You're putting the service and public service. We thank all of you because it's an on-call job, and that's not always convenient. But obviously, the demand is high and the response is higher. Thank you.
Alderman Ray.
I just want to say it's a relief. We get big rain. The third ward used to suffer pretty bad. And I held my breath a little bit when the rain fell this time. But a lot of the mitigation that we did post-Irene, it's nice to see that it certainly did help us come through these storms a lot better than in the past. So kudos to DPW and everyone involved in helping us get the grant money we needed to secure our city. That's all I have.
Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you, and I too thank DPW staff and everyone who's working through what seems to be the new normal now in terms of rain and flooding. It's going to still be a problem. Also want to thank everyone involved in presenting Jimmy Stir and fireworks, and because we haven't met since then. And I thought I think the fireworks were the best attended that I've ever seen. So I thank everyone involved in doing that. Because we won't meet before then, remind people that night out we would have had our next meeting. It's Tuesday, August 1st, and I assume that's in Thrall Park, but that will be night out. Our next meeting will be on August 15th, and our constituents meeting will be Monday, August 14th, just before the council meeting. So I thank everyone who always comes out and keeps us informed on what's going on. We did, if you've seen the announcement, we did have the announcement from, to thank Senator Skoufis for the funding for the parking garage project, which is also underway. And that'll be across from the Paramount, and hopefully we'll get a bright new crosswalk from there over to the Paramount. That would be a big help. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Alderman Green.
Excuse me, thank you. Yeah, a huge shout out to the career staff at the fire department for that life-saving. That's amazing to hear, and always nice to know there's a good outcome, and people willing to do those things in the world at a moment's notice. I did also want to mention, I just thought the fireworks show was amazing. My entire family was there. My son was in awe. Definitely not like I was as a child who covered my ears. He was all happy and ready to roll with it. So, well done. I think, as a city, that was a massively well-attended event, but at the end, try and remember to clean up a little more after yourselves. I did walk through the park at the end, and there were lots of little bits of stuff all around, but overall, what an awesome weekend, and kudos and thank you to the police department for doing, going above and beyond with those arrests this year. I know we saw a lot of people on Facebook who were a little miffed at what was going on in their neighborhoods or what they could hear, and just a reminder that some of the things you hear and see are outside of the city, so things we definitely can't help. Other than that, I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. Raylan, thank you very much for that comprehensive report on everything that's going on with the summer programs. The numbers may be down, but there's still a tremendous amount of kids who are benefiting and getting to do so many things in this city. And it just never stops, all the opportunities that they have. And even before the summer started, with the Little League teams having the success that they did in All-Stars, it's just great, and thank you for sharing that and for the hard work of you and your department. Thank you.
Alderman Massey.
I'm sure all my colleagues will agree that this is a time we're extremely proud of our entire workforce, be it the DPW under Jacob, the fire department, Nick, the police department, the recreation. We've all come together, and we thank you very much, and we are proud of you.
Okay, new business.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, authorizing the closure of a parking lot at 123-125 North Street for a Love Our City event sponsored by the Second Baptist Church.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Tobin, Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Roll.
Thank you.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt to grant a 30-day notification waiver as per the New York Alcoholic Beverage Control Law to Bambuco, A Taste of Colombia, LLC at 240 Wickham Avenue.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, second by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kreiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing a credit limit increase for the police department city issue credit card.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman John Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner accepting a grant of $6,927 from the County of Orange for the Stop DOI program.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Ray. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray, accepting a donation of $250 from the Middletown Professional Firefighters Association for the purpose of supporting our National Night Out in June.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson accepting a $100,000 grant from the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services under the GIVE 2023-2024 Gun-Involved Violence Elimination.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I believe this is the one that gets increased because our police department has been so good at using the money, and so the state has increased the amount. Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean Francois authorizing a $15,000 budget transfer to purchase a fluoride analyzer.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean Francois authorizing a proposal engaging architect John Fauci to prepare plans, specs, and contract bids documents for Wolfslayer field lights.
Resolution finally by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Thank you, Jacob. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey authorizing a $3,000 budget transfer within the Assessor's Office budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing the issuance of a city credit card to Marianne Feely.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? As long as Massey doesn't get a card, I'm okay.
I never get one. Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing an amended cash management agreement with TD Bank.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, second by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner authorizing the 2023-2024 capital expense plan.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, second by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray authorizing the issuance of $970,000 bonds for land acquisition for future municipal infield redevelopment as described in the Middletown Transportation Center site analysis.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing an $8,625,734.75 in bonds for various capital items.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ray.
Aye.
Alderman Kleiner.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Witt.
Aye.
Alderman Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean Francois authorizing the issuance of $3,605,000 bonds for improvement to the water system and dams.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Ray. Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman Jean Francois.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries.
That's the way.
Getting there. You're getting there. You're getting there.
You're learning.
My second time. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green waiving a commercial use requirement in a C3 zone for the Middletown Commons project.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Jean Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey authorizing a proposal for Rotolo Electric to do work at the Middletown Waste Water Management Plan.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Jean Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing a grant application to complete a brownfield study of the Middletown Community Campus.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Jean Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries.
Alderman Massey.
Yes, I'd like to introduce a resolution. I'd like to sponsor it, and I'm hoping we get a unanimous second. Whereas the McCoy's Engine and Ladder Company, number 3, is celebrating the 150th anniversary of its founding as a volunteer unit in the Middletown Fire Department in 1873. And whereas more than 1,000 Middletown men and women have worn the McCoy uniform over those 150 years and created a company reputation for swift, reliable responses to all calls for help. And whereas a first responders, McCoy's risk life and limb each time they answer an alarm, and do so with no thought of payment or personal reward. They often sacrifice sleep, meals, family time to meet their fire department commitment. And whereas the McCoys have applauded the contributions of many fire service colleagues, fellow Middletown Fire Department companies, chiefs, officers, mutual aid responders, career firefighters, company benefactors, and member families, and reaffirming the company's commitment to the mission of the fire department. Now, therefore, we, the members of Middletown Common Council, do hereby recommend, commend, and congratulate the volunteers of the McCoy's Engine and Ladder Company on 150 years of devoted service to their fellow citizens of the city of Middletown.
A motion by Alderman Massey, make it unanimous. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations to the McCoys, and Chief, congratulate them. Audit,
Obviously, you know I did not write this.
Jack McMahon did.
Jack McMahon wrote it. All right, Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Ray.
Okay,
Ready for roll?
yeah.
Roll.
Jean Francois,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Kleiner,
Aye.
Green,
Aye.
Witt,
Aye.
Massey,
Aye.
President Rodriguez,
Aye.
carries.
You did a great job. I think Rick's in trouble.
Motion to
Motion
adjourn.
adjourned? So moved. All right.